Hi guys, it's editing Kieran here. Just want to apologise in advance because there are occasional sort of glitches in the audio every so often, and I can't quite figure out why that is or even how I'm going to remove them without completely destroying the audio. So I thought I'd just give you a heads up for this particular episode, but we'll work on trying to get this sorted for the next one. All right, appreciate you. Hello and welcome to ScreenHour. It's me, Kieran.
And me, Mikey.
And in this episode, we're going to do things a little bit differently. This is something we've decided we wanted to do a while ago, because there'll be some sort of films or shows or games or something that one of us has played or watched and the other one hasn't. So we thought of like a concept of like convince me. So there could be a bit where like I could convince Mikey to watch it or play it, but alternatively it could be convince them not to.
Yeah.
So
Convince me or save me from like the bad time ahead.
yeah. So for this episode, it's more of a convince Mikey to not to save him, and that's to save him from watching Jurassic World Dominion. Because I went to see it the other day, and I mean, I didn't think it was going to be the world's greatest film, but I didn't expect it to.
I thought the trailer looked alright, but I'll be honest, I haven't watched. I don't even know what the other one was called. Jurassic World
Fallen
before
Kingdom.
that one. Fallen Kingdom. Yeah, I couldn't get through that one though.
Yeah, I struggle with Fallen Kingdom as well, to be fair, and it's I mean, there is a lot of problems. Like this third one is definitely the worst of all six. It's definitely the worst of all six. But the thing is, it's like the main problem is the writing. It just feels lackluster and over convoluted. I mean, when you look at the originals, like Jurassic Park, the first one came out in what, 93 was it? That one, it was just about the science of creating dinosaurs and trying to open a park, and then there was one of the dudes gets killed, so then insurance guys have to come along to make sure that the place is safe, and then they bring on like Alan Grant and Ellie, and then Dr. Malcolm. They bring them all on so they can like lawyers at ease. It's about them sort of showing off the park, and then obviously it goes to shit. Then the second one is about the second island, Isla Sorna, where they originally created the dinosaurs. The
first one feels magical though. The first one, like, it's done really well, and like it feels even if you watch it back now, it just feels epic. Like,
yeah, well, there's a lot of nostalgia to it as well, because I mean, if you really think about it, it's the first time.
Came out in 1993. Like,
yeah, it's the first time you actually get to see dinosaurs. You know what I mean? I mean, sure, you've got dinosaurs in like Jason and the Argonauts and stop motion, but this was the first sort of CGI dinosaurs that you got to see, which was like it was mind blowing.
There's a lot of it was puppets as well, though, wasn't it? That's why it looks so good, like animatronics.
Yeah. So then, like the second one, like it's about them trying to save the dinosaurs on the island, and then the third one is about a son that goes missing while looking for dinosaurs, and then they not blackmail, but they trick Alan Grant to go to the island as like some anniversary thing, and they'll help him do the funding for his digging. And then it turns out they're actually there to save his son, and this guy's got no money at all. Kirby, Paint Tar Plus, and Westgate. that was the song, isn't it, on the phone?
Yeah. And it keeps ringing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know that one was on all the time?
I know. I remember on TV2. I remember watching that one at the cinema, and like, it's not like watching it now. It's actually not like amazing, but I have a lot of nostalgia for the third one, mostly because of the fight between the T-Rex and the Spinosaurus.
Yeah.
Because like that's at the end of the day, that's what you want to see when you go to see a Jurassic film. So I actually quite enjoyed the third one. Given it's actually the worst of the original trilogy, I actually rather enjoy it. And like the first and the second one, again, are really decent films. Like they're I say really decent because they're not amazing, but they are really decent. They're better than good, but they're not amazing, so they're really decent. But then Jurassic World, and
See, I thought Jurassic World was alright, but it's never captivated me as much as I would have presumed or hoped. Like,
my problem with the reboot is they're the same plot points. They go to a park, all of a sudden everything goes to shit, and you're trying to escape and save for your life, like run for your life. That's the same plot as the first one. The second one is about they go to the island to save the dinosaurs because there's a there's a volcanic eruption, right? And then they go over to Lockwood's estate where there's like they're selling off the dinosaurs highest bidder, which is very similar to the original the Lost Worlds, which was the second one in the original trilogy, where they take the T-Rex back and then they're trying to create their own amusement park in San Diego. And then the third one is a different plot in a sense, but they technically still go back to the island, right? Because this third one, this plot is so convoluted.
I just wonder when they do stuff like that with sequels, it's when it's essentially a remake. Like, you only remake something if it's really going to profit from a remake, in the sense that the special effects were shoddy, or the acting was bad, and the story just needs like revamped. So it's got better actors and the story's good, so it just needs a revamped or something like that. But
yeah,
as like the original trilogy it was pretty strong. Like,
yeah, it's a solid trilogy.
They just wanted to cash back on into it. I think
yeah.
they've took their time releasing it. I know obviously we had COVID as well, but I'm pretty sure Jurassic World came out in like 2015, is that?
Yeah, 2015 and then 2017, I think. So the third one, right? This Fallen, not Fallen.
Who directed the new one? Because they should have got Bryce Dallas Howard to direct one. Because Bryce Dallas Howard has directed a load of good stuff. Like, more particularly, the reason I'm like a huge fan of hers now is because she's directed a couple of episodes of The Mandalorian, like, and she's really good at that.
Oh, is she?
Yeah, she's like directed some of the best episodes.
Colin Trevorrow.
Colin Trevorrow. Yeah, he directed bloody the other one, didn't he?
He's done.
He directed the first one and Bring for Jurassic World, like.
Yeah, he's done Dominion and Fallen Kingdom. He's done all of the trilogy.
Yeah, poor bastard.
But I mean, it's not necessarily him. He's got some decent direction. It's the writing that really lets it down, because
he sounds convoluted. All I've heard is like clones and like.
Okay, right. Do you want me to tell you who the main bad guy is? Okay. Do you remember in Jurassic Park, the first one, when I can't remember the bloke's name, but he's a very heavy set guy with the glasses, right? And he uses that device to hide the embryos.
The guy with the meme. Who cares? The meme guy. The guy who hides the embryos. The meme guy who has like, isn't he dead?
No, not Dennis. Dennis, that's his name.
Yeah, Dennis died, didn't he?
Yeah, so not him, but the guy he goes to meet, right? That's called Dobson, right?
Yeah.
Right? He's the bad guy. That one guy that was in the original film for, I don't know.
The guy you meet when he says the meme,
yeah,
like, see, nobody cares.
Yeah, for like 2 minutes. Meets him for 2 minutes. He's now the main villain in this third one. And it's not the same actor. The actor is Spider-Man's dad. he's Andrew Garfield's dad is the actor. Yeah, so Andrew Garfield's there crying because his dad's dead. Really, he didn't. He disappeared and started inventing, trying to steal the plans for dinosaurs. That's where he really went. Okay, so he's the main bad guy. But do you want to know what the main bad animal is?
It's not another. Is it another T-Rex, or is it Blue's mum? Is it something like?
No. It's locusts.
So it's not even a dinosaur.
Locusts. So locusts are like the dinosaur baddies, the prehistoric baddies in the film. And you know what they do? They destroy crops. What the fuck?
So they're trying to stop locusts. Is it meant to be like an agriculture campaign film?
Trying to simplify this plot. Basically, they there's problems with agricultural, Because basically after the end of the third one, there's dinosaurs now living in the real world, like amongst humans, right? Humans try to live with the dinosaurs. Henry Wu, the original designer of dinosaurs from Jurassic Park, yeah, and he's been a villain in the World and Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, but he's now had a huge character arc in this one, and you're meant to feel a lot of sympathy for him because he says, and I quote, "I feel bad about what I've done, so I'm going to better myself now and, rid the world of these locusts that I created only 6 weeks ago." Like, oh, come on. They need to get the DNA from this girl called Maisie, the little girl from the last one, Lockwood, right? Lockwood's granddaughter that's also his daughter that's a clone, and she didn't have the defects that her mother had. Yeah, see where I'm going with this? It makes no sense, but it also does make sense, apparently.
Why is it trying to be so convoluted?
Exactly. I've already outlined what Jurassic Park were like. Very simple plots. Right? Why is it whole cloning this, cloning that? And there's locusts and there's also dinosaurs. And then what I hated about Jurassic World and Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom had to create the Indominus Rex and the Indo Rex. They created new dinosaurs because they wanted, to create new attractions and stuff, is what they claim in the film, is, oh, we need to make them bigger and scarier with more teeth and blah, 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 blah. But we also know that they've done that for us as the audience to be like, oh, there's a new dinosaur to watch. Sick as they are, we don't need to create dinosaurs. And then in this third one, they actually create the Giga.
It's Giga. What is it? Like a computer chip? Is it a solid state drive? Is it?
It's basically Gigantosaurus, but it's not called Gigantosaurus. It's not the way you pronounce it. It's like Gigantosaurus or something like that. But it's an actual living dinosaur. Well, obviously it's not living; it's extinct. But that's an actual dinosaur that did exist that we've got fossils of. So we've actually got a realistic dinosaur this time, but it's never been mentioned before, and it's kind of just like thrown in there. Oh yeah, this was a dinosaur that was part of Injun's list, and you're like, well, okay, why has it never been mentioned before? And yeah, as I mentioned, so we got the locusts that are like destroying all the farms. So basically, the reason you have Ellie, Professor Grant, and Dr. Malcolm come back is because they're trying to battle this locust problem.
Because of the fan base, that's why they come back.
Yeah. So
more interest in a dying franchise, like.
Yeah,
I bet they're the best part of the film, aren't they? Because I bet they just.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. They are realistically the best thing about the film. I mean, their whole plot points and everything is all bullshit, but they are the best thing about the film. And I mean, kind of getting a bit pissed off at the moment with all these new franchises stealing or bringing back people from the originals. Because you had the reboot of Star Wars and they brought back Leia and Luke and Han Solo, right? And then you've got the Spider-Man No Way Home, and you got to bring back all the other Spider-Mans.
I think those examples don't work for me as bad examples. Fucking absolute smashing, especially No Way Home. I feel like with Han Solo is out to run like Harrison Ford wanted to die in like the second film, so they just persuaded him to come back so he could finally die. And
yeah, but it's just they don't need to bring them back. They're just bringing them back because then it's trying to tie in the two different generations to get everyone to just, the older generations and our generations and then younger generations to all enjoy the same film because there's a little bit of everything for everyone. But it's like, just do something original, create a original script. You don't have to agree with your sentiment. Because I mean, with the new Flash film, which spoilers might not be going ahead or whatever with Ezra Miller, I don't know what's going on with him, but.
What hasn't he done? That guy's having a bad time, man. That guy's
that
guy's had a few mental breakdowns.
But
all the people who should get cancelled, that motherfucker should get cancelled, man.
And then they're bringing in Michael Keaton back to play the Batman in his universe when he goes back.
You're telling me you're not interested, though? You are interested.
I'm intrigued to see Michael Keaton again because obviously it's Michael Keaton. I like Michael Keaton. But it's like, why is Hollywood at the moment banking so hard and bringing everyone back? Let the people that are currently in those roles do their job. You know what I mean? It's like, clearly the studio doesn't think they're good enough on their own that they have to bring back the originals. You know what I mean? And in this case, in Jurassic World Dominion, you know, the originals were actually better. No offense to Bryce Dallas Howard or Chris Pratt. You know, they are in their own rights brilliant actors, right? But this film does not allow them to shine at all. It's so poorly written for them that it just makes them look, it just makes them look bad when they're not, because I've seen them in other things, and it's horrible. I mentioned that I wanted the dinosaurs to, the reason you go and see dinosaur films is because you want to see dinosaurs, right? And when you get to see dinosaurs actually fight one another is 1 hour, 30 minutes into the film. And guess what? They don't even fight one another. Gigantosaurus, or whatever it's called, comes up against a T-Rex after the T-Rex has eaten a deer, right? And the Gigantosaurus is like, nah, mate, it's mine. Give them a little nip, and the T-Rex like, you can have it, and fucks off. And it's like, oh, okay. Fast forward 30 minutes, finally get the ending where the dinosaurs have that little face-off right at the end, exactly the same as they did in Fallen Kingdom, right? Where Blue and the T-Rex fight the Indominus Rex. Oh, yeah, sorry, that was the beginning of the Jurassic World. The end of Jurassic World, should I say. I can't remember how... Oh, yeah, Blue just kills the Indo Rex at the Fallen Kingdom because it falls on something. Right,
but then in this one, God, I was really looking forward to that. You absolute bastard.
And then in this one, basically the Gigantosaurus comes into contact with the T-Rex. They have a little battle, right? And then out of nowhere, Wolverine comes in and stabs him.
Wolverine comes in. We on that Wolverine comes in there and stabs him.
Right, there's a gigantic bird has Wolverine claws, and it just stabs him. I mean, we do see this dinosaur in one scene prior for about, I don't know, 3 minutes, right? But then he pops up right at the end, and he was like, it's Wolverine time, and stabs it. Basically, the T-Rex like bashes him, so the Gigantosaurus goes like off balance, and then he just like stabs him, and stabs the Gigantosaurus, and it dies, and then those other two dinosaurs walk off. So it's okay to kill the big dinosaur, but it's not okay to kill the T-Rex. And why is the T-Rex always teaming up with everyone? The T-Rex is like something that eats the shit out of everything. Did you not watch the original trilogy?
They're just trying to spin it on.
Just making friends with everyone. Why is he making friends with everyone?
That's what they do with like villains. Never mind animals. In a couple of episodes later of like whatever franchise or TV show, it turns out that the villain's not really that bad. It's because this happened to him, or this. Yeah,
but it's an animal.
And he's like his family now. He's part of the family. He's like Fast and Furious with Jason Statham. He's part of the family now. He's one of the boys. Like it's T-Rex. Like
it's a joke. And there's some of the dinosaur scenes that you do get are bad. Right, the best dinosaur scene is probably when Claire gets ejected out of a plane, right, and she then comes across the big bird with Wolverine claws, right. That's actually pretty decent when she's trying to like crawl away from it. To juxtapose that, she's in a foot sprint away from a velociraptor, and she beats the velociraptor because she's got main character speed. And then again, main character, attributes. The Chris Pratt with his hands like freeze, stop, and the dinosaur's like, oh, I guess I must stop then, right? And then I feel like they meme on it a little bit later on the film because Alan Grant does it as well. When Blue comes to attack, and they're like, no, Blue's child Beta, right? They were like, oh, don't attack us, right? And they all like put their hands out like whoa, 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 and it's like, what's this like? Have we all got the Force now? Like, what's all this hand movement? It's like, it just feels like they've. I mean, it made sense in the first one because he was kind of like, oh shit, don't eat me. But they used it too much throughout the trilogy that it just like it became an ultimate
Chris way to stop. Directing, like, you're doing the Jedi mind tricks.
Yeah, it's like the ultimate way to stop a dinosaur is do that. Like it's constantly happening. It's just.
But does he do it to all the dinosaurs? Because like, surely it's only going to work on the ones you've trained.
Yeah. So basically, yeah, it was basically because he did it because he does it because of how he trained the raptors.
He does it to the raptors, though, doesn't it? Yeah. So that
Yeah.
makes sense. But like, you can't just do it to random dinosaurs,
But
does
yeah,
it?
I mean, they were doing it to all the dinosaurs, like every different one. And then there's a scene where with the plane crash, and Chris Pratt is with one of the new characters called Kayla, which I'm not being funny, is a carbon copy of Trek from Altered Carbon, identical costume design, and they're on some ice, and then what I'm actually going to be calling a realistic Velociraptor. We never actually get to hear its name because Velociraptors are basically they're covered in feathers and fur, right? Is what they're realistically meant to look like, and they're only meant to be like 3 foot, 4 foot tall, right? So if you want to be realistic and true to paleontology, but so it's actually still the same size as the Velociraptors in the films, but it looks more like a normal Velociraptor. But that scene itself is way too short.
There just isn't enough of the good stuff.
There's not enough for dinosaurs.
It's too convoluted.
It's like King Kong versus Godzilla and all of that sort of Godzilla sort of trilogy. You watch the film because you want to see Godzilla. You don't give a crap about any of the human elements. You really couldn't care less. It's just there to fill the plot, right? And that's exactly what they've done with this Jurassic World. We want to see dinosaurs, but we hardly see them, and it just makes no sense. To be honest, the best bit about Jurassic World Dominion is the prologue that was released on YouTube a couple of months before the film came out. Did you see that?
No, I haven't got on with the new the reboot.
I genuinely recommend seeing it because I loved Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. I think it's a brilliant film. I mean,
yeah,
Matt
Reeves. All the Planet Apes reboots are sick.
Yeah, I mean, Matt Reeves knocks out of the park, right? Absolutely, he's on top of his game in that. And what I loved about that one is like the first sort of like 10, 20 minutes of that film. I don't think it's quite 20 minutes, but say first 10 minutes of that film, it's the apes and how they communicate and how they hunt deer, right? There's no humans whatsoever. It is brilliant, right? And we get a lot of snippets of that throughout the whole film of the apes working together, right? And the prologue for Jurassic World
together strong.
Yes, and the prologue for Jurassic World Dominion is you basically get to see what is that same sort of thing of dinosaurs in their natural habitat 65 million years ago, and how they worked, not worked, but how they sort of roamed in those times. And then there's a bit where it cuts to like 65 million years later, right? And it's how the dinosaurs are now overtaking the world as such, as they've been released from Jurassic World sort of thing. So the sort of ending to the prologue is a bit like whatever. But I want more of just dinosaurs, and like I want to see just velociraptors hunting or the dinosaurs, or watching the T-Rex stalk or something.
So you're telling me
I don't want.
You need less dinosaurs, and you love the film.
That is exactly the opposite of what I'm saying. I don't know, like the thing is that that was the biggest cock tease, that prologue. It was absolute false advertising, thinking, holy shit, they're taking this Jurassic World in a new direction. They might actually do a really good job with this new film. Well, they disappointed me big time, didn't they? I don't know how you went from that prologue looking so brilliant as it is to then the film. It's just absolute ass. That is my official rating. Absolute ass.
Sure, I am absolute ass.
It's
bless you.
terrible. And it's only like there's just.
So how long is the old cast in it for then?
How long is the old cast in it for? They're kind of in it as much as Toby and Andrew were in No Way Home. They're not like the main thing in it, but they've got a fair chunk.
Yeah, they've got 20%, but they're quite. Because in spoilers for Spider-Man, I suppose, but it's everyone's watched it. They're quite pivotal, aren't they? So they're not in it that much. But doing like 20%.
But they're quite pivotal. Yeah.
Is that what like the new cast are like in that one?
Yeah, they are quite pivotal because they're the ones that deal with the locust problem. Because the locust problem's bigger than the dinosaur problem, apparently. Because it's destroying all the crops.
Are they huge locusts? Is that why like?
Yeah. They're like I'd say they're probably the size of your forearm.
Oh.
Yeah, from your elbow to your wrist.
I want it as big as my house, like. I don't have forearms. But like, oh no,
but there's loads of them, and they're moving like a swarm.
That sounds like something off a 90s, like.
Yeah.
Straight to VHS film, like. Yeah, it just sounds crap, like. So yeah, you've really convinced me not to watch it.
I mean, I
was half tempted originally to go to Odeon and watch it like one day after work, but you've really convinced me not to.
Right at the end of the film, right, they basically say, "Oh, we're now going to create a habitat for the dinosaurs to live on Earth. We're gonna like an American national park becomes home to the dinosaurs." And I'm like, "I'm sorry, do you think all your problems are now over?" If I recall, they created Jurassic Park. Somewhere where the dinosaurs could live on an island.
So what? They chucked it in like the middle of like Grand Central Park, or like a generally populated area.
No, not Grand Central, like a national park, as in like like the national, like Yosemite National Park or somewhere like that.
Yeah, but like
not Grand Central Park.
The reason I say Grand Central Park is like it's somewhere quite populated. Why would they not just put them in the arsehole of nowhere?
No, they do put them in the arse middle of nowhere. That's my point. They put them in the national park in the arse end of nowhere, somewhere in America. But the thing is, like, they think that solves the problem. How does that solve the problem? They escaped from Jurassic Park, which was an island, right, because of human intervention. And then you've got Jurassic World. They created a world for them, and they still escaped from there. And you're thinking it's going to be all okay now. And it's like, I'm sorry, are you just like setting yourself up for like another trilogy where, oh, guess what, they escape again? It's like, oh, come on, be better. Realize that you need to fuck off all the dinosaurs on Troy Island, and completely, you need to like militarize them in a sense that militarize them. I'm not on about giving them a fucking assault rifle.
AK-47s on their back.
Dinosaurs running around with assault rifles.
That's what he tries to do in like the Jurassic World. Vincent D'Onofrio says he'll allude into like militarizing them, doesn't it?
Yeah, but
why would you get rid of Vincent D'Onofrio? Because he's not in the ones, is he? Or is it?
He dies. He gets eaten by the raptors in the first one.
Vincent it's just so forgettable. Vincent D'Onofrio is like great. Like, why would you get rid of him?
But no, when I say militarize, I meant like you defend the island, so like people can't just like hop in, try and steal some dinosaur eggs. You sort of like keep it on lockdown, but you just don't allow anyone in there. You just let them roam, or you just wipe them all out. They had that chance. Just get rid of them. You got to think of the greater good here, or basically just let them carry on roaming, and we've just got to live one-on-one with them, and may the best man win. Spoilers for Be a Dinosaur.
Wow, it sounds like you've simultaneously thoroughly hated that, but also
there's just so much to rip into because it's so lazy. It's so lazily written that it doesn't deserve bonus points for anything. I mean, I generally try and think of decent bits, and I can't think of much. There's just a lot of new characters that were brought in that were kind of like pointless. There was, Mission Impossible, and you've got Vanessa Kirby's character that's like a broker. Yeah, there's like a version of her in this film, and she's like in it for a couple of seconds as they're trying to do some black market shit in Morocco or somewhere like that, and then she sort of disappears. And yeah, it's like they've introduced a lot of different characters. Nothing really went anywhere. At the end of the day, it's all about the little girl Maisie and the Velociraptor, because they're trying to create political and capital gain. That's all it is. It's just massive greed, and that's basically the premise.
To be fair, you convinced me rather well, because it's just you've said so many things which just do not redeem.
Just absolutely shit on it. if you want to see a decent dinosaur film, right, I generally recommend watching a film called Dinosaur. Came out in 2000. It's actually on Disney because it's a Walt Disney production, and I remember mentioning this to you, and you said you hadn't seen it.
No, I haven't seen it.
I can't believe you haven't seen it. This was like a big film when I was a kid. Like, it was if you weren't watching Jurassic Park, you were watching Dinosaur. It's CGI dinosaurs. There are no humans in the whole film. It's just dinosaurs, and basically they need to travel from. I'm trying to think of the plot. There's like an asteroid that comes down, and that was it. The one dinosaur, his egg gets lost from his nest. It gets snatched from a nest, and then it sort of goes on this random journey as other like creatures try and like take the egg, and then it falls down a river, and then it gets picked up by these lemurs, and the lemurs raise the dinosaur, and then the big asteroid comes down, and then it wipes out like a lot of dinosaurs and lemurs and what have you, and then this dinosaur called Aladar, and his lemur buddies, go in search of like other dinosaurs or lemurs, and they come across this herd that are trying to find their way to a new grazing ground as such, and he joins on with them.
2000.
This came at 2000, yeah, and they're going to find this new grazing ground, and they're trying to find some water and stuff. Meanwhile, they're being hunted by these Carnotaurus. So they're the ones that look like a T-Rex, but they've got the little horns on the front of their head.
Yeah.
The Carnotaurus. But it's all the dinosaurs are like voice actors. So they're all the dinosaurs speak and stuff. But it's not like it's just a really good film. It's a lot of nostalgia there for me as well, watching that. But if you want to watch a decent dinosaur film, watch that. Don't waste your time watching Jurassic World. Yeah, or just go back and watch Jurassic Park.
Yeah, just go watch the original. Like
yeah.
I think we've said it a few times that it's easier for us to say, "Oh, right, original, better things," but they just should make more IPs and put more money into creating a brand new original story.
It feels like at the moment there's so much mediocrity in like everything that Hollywood's pushing out. I mean, there are a few glimpses of like brilliance, such as the Batman or Top Gun Maverick. Those are like, that's an external force such as Tom Cruise, or Matt Reeves that are putting all of their effort into it. But then these big productions, such as like these cash grab ones such as Jurassic World and stuff, there's so much laziness and mediocrity thrown into it. They could do so much better than they have done, but they're just sort of like, it'll do, it'll get people into the cinema, it'll bring us a lot of money. And it's like, that's what you shouldn't be doing films if you're thinking just about money and greed. You should be doing it because you love it and you're passionate about it and you want to create a story that you want us to be entertained by, and that's one of the biggest problems. And another thing I can add, if you want to watch it to see decent dinosaur footage, prehistoric footage, is I got a subscription to Apple TV because I got a new iPhone, so I got a 3-month free.
Well, that's one thing, well.
Yeah, I got a 3-month free trial of Apple TV, and there's a documentary series on there narrated by David Attenborough called Prehistoric Planet, and it's basically like Blue Planet or Planet Earth where he narrates, but he's narrating dinosaurs. It's a little iffy in the sense.
How did you get that footage?
So it's like computer generated imagery of the dinosaurs and stuff, but it's a little iffy because some of the stories and tales he says, you got to kind of take it with a pinch of salt, because it's like, how can you know this detail? You're not like witnessing them and following them, so they're doing this because of this. They're directing the dinosaurs because they've got to create them, so they're creating their own story. But what I do like is the graphics look incredible. There's small instances where it sort of interacts with water or interacts with the snow, and the dinosaur looks a little iffy. The ones covered in fur and feathers, they just look incredible. And especially watching it in 4K as well, it's like, whoa. The music is brilliant. And in Planet Earth and Blue Planet, they use like GoPros and that to sort of throw the cameras sort of into the wild, so the cameraman doesn't have to be there, so it doesn't disturb the creature and the animal as such. And they meticulously created these camera angles, so it feels like you're actually watching the documentary rather than they're just watching computer generated imagery. So they've put a lot of thought into it, and I think it's brilliant. It's only like $4.99 for a month, and that is for a whole month. You can watch all of Apple TV then, right? And a price to go see Jurassic World at the cinema is, I don't know, like a tenner.
So you can watch all of that as opposed to just watching fucking...
Exactly.
Because the way it's shot and the way he's like describing everything, and like half it's also because he's a posh bloke and he's got like a lovely softening voice. Imagine if he had my accent. Ironically, I know I'm doing a podcast, but imagine if he had my accent. It sounds totally different.
It's a shame that it's only on Apple TV. It just should have been like a BBC thing. But they did, for $4.99 for a whole month to watch that and everything else on Apple TV, opposed to spending the tenner or more just to go and see one shoddy film at the cinema. I highly recommend Prehistoric Planet. It's so fascinating. It is unbelievable. The CGI is amazing. The story, the direction, the narration, it's just incredible. It's something I will watch again 100%. And again, if you've got Disney Plus, or even if you've got the original DVD of Dinosaur from 2000, give that a watch.
Just a lot better. Yeah.
And then on the other end, watch Jurassic Park. Do not bother watching Jurassic World. Waste of time. You'll be bored, and you'll be like, why did I put myself through this? I don't hate it. It's just so mediocre. It's so lazy. It's poor. It's piss poor.
It's piss poor, is it?
But that's my opinion. You can agree with it or disagree with it. That's what happens in a free-speaking country.
Part of me feels like I need to watch it just so I can rip into it more, but also down to the last 40 minutes, you've also convinced me I'd waste a good chunk of my life doing that. So I don't think I'd want to.
You waste a lot of time. You waste your money watching it, driving there and back, maybe parking as well. It's just not worth it. You wait until it comes on a streaming service that you're already paying for. And even then, make sure you got the fast forward button ready, because you're like, oh, this bit's boring, fast forward this bit. Yeah. I just thought, actually, I just had a quick glance at my notes then. I do actually have a good point for Jurassic World Dominion. My good point is the jungle scenes, their sound design is actually really good.
Is that your one good point?
My one good point is the sound design for being in the jungle is actually really on point. It's got the whole sort of like I want to say a kookaburra sound, but that's probably not a kookaburra. But that sort of proper jungly sort of sound. It just really amplifies the scene. It makes the scene better. Rolling a turd in glitter, isn't it? Really. But all right, moment of the week then.
I don't think Jurassic Dominion is going to be your moment of the week, but my moment of the week for what I've watched this week has got to be The Staircase. So it's a HBO production, and it's like stars Colin Firth as like Michael Peterson, and it's got traction again because they had this Netflix documentary re-released it, and it's had like a couple of documentaries made about this chap Michael Peterson getting accused. This isn't like spoilers, but because it happens in the first 20 minutes, getting accused of pushing his wife down the stairs.
Yeah.
And how he defends it and how it looks. And it's all like based on a true story. And I've watched the first 2 episodes. And what's weird about it is me and Charlotte watched the documentary about it a couple of years ago. and it's so weird because it feels like it's created for a TV show, and now it's been created into a TV show because it's so like some of the elements feel like it's been made for a drama, but it's 100% true. Like some of the like it feels so contrived and in a good way, in the sense that it's interesting. You think like somebody had wrote it, but now is just it's like a writer's dream type of thing.
Oh, I see.
It's so cushy for him, and the guy who's directed the first few episodes he's directed a good film called Devil All the Time on Netflix, which is a great film which came out like, last year.
Oh, Devil All the Time.
Like,
Was that Tom Holland and?
yeah, it's Tom Holland, and Robert Pattinson plays like a real bad guy, like a
Oh,
foxy
yeah,
one.
yeah.
But he's what's good about this show though is it's got quite a solid cast. Is that Tony Collette plays the deceased wife in question, but
Yeah.
like she's in it more than you'd expect due to flashbacks and such, and it fleshes out all the characters. But it feels so real. Sophie Turner's in it as well, Dane DeHaan's in it, but it just feels so intense. It's a bit gruesome as well, because when it first starts, you see the body of Kathleen, and like it doesn't pull any punches with how battered her body is after falling down the stairs. But I remember bits, and I won't spoil it too much because I know a lot of people. My parents have watched it, and they're like a good example that they never heard of it. They just thought, "Oh, this looks good." It's like it's getting pushed on Now TV slash Sky. It's got a good cast, so
Yeah.
they watched it, and they hadn't heard of it before. But me and Charlotte have watched it, the documentary, and some mad things get thrown about in the sense that like some of the excuses he uses and some of the excuses his lawyer team use, they sound so strange and made up. But again, it's a true story. And what's weird about it is the drama is a good drama, despite it being, as I said, it feels contrived and like made up and so strange and weird. But the drama treats it so well, and it's intense and like emotional. Just again, this a surreal moment in it where somebody dies. So Kathleen, the lady in question, dies, and then it's one of they're like the Brady Bunch there because it's a huge family because they both have children from other marriages, and then they come together. So there's like probably like 4 or 5 kids, and it's one of the kids' birthday the day after Kathleen's died, and they sing "Happy Birthday" to her, and it's like the most depressing "Happy Birthday" ever. And it's literally the day after her mom's died. Worth watching it just for that scene because that's so surreal and that's Sophie Turner now.
Yeah.
But
Well, I suppose I'd need to watch all of it, not just for that scene, but in order to get the context.
It's just so weird watching that.
Yeah.
I definitely recommend it. Even more so if you watch the documentary, but watch it as a standalone.
So what's it called?
The Staircase. It's on Now TV.
On Now TV.
There's Colin Firth is the main role. What's cool about it is that me and Charlotte were saying that he's nice, and he's tried to shake away from it more recently. But he used to be, don't get me wrong, his character's quite posh in this because he's like a higher class, like writer, and he's like got a big house or whatever. But you know, for back in the day, especially in the early 2000s with Bridget Jones and such, he was the posh guy, and even Mamma Mia, I suppose. He's the posh, like romantic chap. But in this, he's totally different. Like he's not as charismatic as you'd once presume. In different roles, he's not typecast, so he smashes out. It's interesting. Like it's definitely worth giving you a watch.
All right. My moment of the week. This is a weird one actually. I was just perusing YouTube, and I came across this guy. His name is Reubs, right? That's his YouTube account, Reubs, and he has remade the Simpsons Hit and Run. Like he's done, he's like made a remastered version, using
Oh,
Unreal Engine 5.
like a real Unreal Engine or something.
He was just, prattling around with it, sort of thing, and he's had like a lot of response to it. It's got 6.6 million views. So then he's doing a full-on open world.
Is it Reubs? Yeah, I'll have a look at it now. You can have a live reaction. You can see it just fucking hell. He smashed it, innit?
Yeah.
The nostalgia's so strong. I'm gonna start like crying.
Oh no.
This is the original childhood GTA.
It was the original GTA.
It's fucking baller, isn't it? It's like 1-for-1 as well. The way he's reenacted it. It's impressive, isn't it?
He's using pre-made sort of templates. It's not the word I want, but the word that'll do. And he's used those, and then he's been upscaling all of the graphics and that. And this is just like he's only released episode 1 so far. It's the next episode probably coming out tomorrow because it's 7 days since the first episode tomorrow. So I might get episode 2. But I just think it's incredible, especially some of these older games that they're doing remasters of them. Like, not particularly ones that came out on like a PlayStation 4 or a PlayStation 3, but the ones that came out like on a PlayStation 1 or a PlayStation 2. Remastering those and the nostalgia for playing those. Because, I mean, Bully got a real big resurgence recently, didn't?
I think what they need to do is just keep the presentation the same and the missions the same, but
just upscale it.
Upscale it so it looks great and the controls are good, so it's not clunky. But 100% agree.
Do some quality of life changes.
Should be games which are actually old. So despite like Last of Us Part 1 or like the original Last of Us being, it came out in 2013, so nearly 10 years old. So we're not like we're a news channel, but. So last week they said and they showed footage and clips of the Last of Us remake, not remastered, Last of Us remake.
Yeah.
So why do we need that? I know it's 10 years old, but it still holds up. The Last of Us remastered.
Yeah, it still holds up, but
still holds up.
To be fair, I watched a side by side of the graphic comparisons of the original Last of Us remastered, and then Last of Us Part 1, which is the remaster. And the remastered remaster Part 1 looks amazing compared to the original remaster and then the original. So the graphics do look really good, but again, it's another cash grab, isn't it? Because they're selling it at like $69.99.
Not even like what they should have done is, I know they're like chopping their nose off to spot the facts because The Last of Us is 10 years old and it's like a Sony flagship game. That anybody who has already got it pays £15 to get it overhauled.
Yeah.
Because I know a few games have done that. So have it upgraded for the
Uncharted,
PS4.
I think.
No, Uncharted have done that, which is also Naughty Dog, obviously. I know Ghost of Tsushima have done a similar thing with PS4, we upgraded to Director's Edition. But who's going to pay £460 for that? The Simpsons Hit and Run one could be gold. I think credit to him. I think if anything, someone's going to watch that and just go, fucking EA is going to say, yeah, we'll use it with the Battlefield 2042 engine. And they'll end up doing it. Or they'll end up hiring that guy.
One of the original designers of the Simpsons Hit and Run actually commented on the guy's post, on Reubs' post, saying "Oh, well done, brilliant job," sort of thing. And you got to remember, this is just one guy. Whereas the original team, how many people was on the original team? And so it'd be quite cool to have a remake of that, to be honest, just for nostalgia reasons. I don't want to spend £70 on it. I mean, if I can get it for 35 or something, that I feel that's reasonable. But do you remember there was another Simpsons game that came out a few years later, and it literally just popped in my head.
The wrestling one was jokes.
Games. I remember. I think the wrestling one I played before this one. Oh, there was Road Rage. Remember that one?
Road Rage was more like Crazy Taxi, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wasn't
it came out 2 years after. I think it came out in 2010 or something like that. Road Rage.
Everybody played Hit and Run. Everybody at school played Hit and Run. Everybody.
Oh, I think it was just called The Simpsons Game. Yeah, I think it was The Simpsons Game. I think it came out near the same time as the film.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually really enjoyed that game as well, to be fair. And it'd be nice if they could do a remaster of that, because that came out in 2007. PlayStation 3, PlayStation 2, so it was a crossover of the PlayStation, Xbox 360. Came out on the Wii. You remember the Wii?
The Simpsons game, like the 2007 one, like the film one.
Yeah.
That was alright, that was. I enjoyed that. Yeah, it's good, lad.
Oh my
Yeah,
god,
definitely do.
Hans Zimmer did the composing for the Simpsons game.
Oh, sounds ideal. What legend?
Jesus, he's dipping his toes in everything, isn't he?
Yeah, fuck about, does he?
But now, there we go. So that's my moment of the week. Then I was just amazed by this guy on YouTube recreating the Simpsons game.
Well, he's put some graft in there, and it has a lot of potential. I reckon, give it next year, you'll end up seeing him like spearheading the developing team for it.
Who knows? Who knows? But
thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed Kieran ranting and me asking him inquisitive questions.
Yeah, let us know what you think of this this sort of episode style. If it works, if it doesn't work. So, I mean, it's just a trial and error, really. But I enjoyed having my little rant, and I hope you enjoyed it too. I mean, don't forget to follow us on Instagram, and you can listen into our podcast not only on Anchor, but you can listen on YouTube, you can listen on Spotify, and you can now also listen on Apple Podcasts as well. So we're in all your favourite places.
And thanks for listening, guys.
Yeah, thanks for listening. We appreciate it as always. And we'll see you next time.
Craft yourselves.
Bye.
Bye.